Hello, hello, hello. Thank you and welcome back to another episode of the Corona Spotlight 2020. I am Gayle Nicholson, your host extraordinaire, and I am here today with one of the people that I consider an expert in the field of multimedia services. That would be Mr. Kris Klise of Klise Media Group. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am eager to pick your brain about what can be done in this transition time that we're in with the coronavirus quarantine. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Kris, let's start out with give me a little bit of background with you, your history and how you actually got into starting your own media group and how
Sure.
that unfolded.
Well, sure. It's been a lengthy journey, and I essentially got there through having my own creative outlet. I initially started video editing back in 2004 and picked up a camera, started making movies, documentary type stuff. And, initially I did do it just out of creativity, sheer creativity. I used to write a lot, and I felt that using the pen wasn't uh, wasn't expressive enough, so I wanted to bring some visuals into it.
Excellent.
Um, Prior to that, I was an athlete. I was in the military. I was in the U.S. Air Force. I've lived all over the country. I've been a teacher, so I've taught in public education. I taught for 6 years,
Hmm.
and through that is where I actually started my business. I worked at a continuation high school with at-risk youth, and at that school they had an amazing video production program where these students would win international film awards every year. And after they would graduate, they wouldn't really do anything with it. So I'd run into these students, a year or two after they graduated, and ask them, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they're working in a warehouse. I said, "Okay." You learned all these amazing skills where you're you know Photoshop expert, After Effects expert, great video editor. And so I decided to start my own media company.
Hmm.
We are a nonprofit organization. Our primary focus is helping businesses and connecting businesses and the community through technology.
Phenomenal.
And
Now,
s-
let me stop you for a second. That teaching that class to the at-risk youth, was that the YouTube Creators Club, or is that something
no,
different?
yeah,
Okay.
that's something I created on my own a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I saw a need. Yeah, I do run a program called YouTube Creators Club. We've had over 500 students in the program,
Nice.
mostly brick and mortar, but I do have a virtual curriculum and virtual class also. And I started that just out of the need. A lot of kids today, youth, and then their parents. I get a lot of parents that want to take my class or sit in on the class also. But I saw a lot of youth and young people just watching YouTube. They love to watch people play video games, or they love to learn stuff. But I didn't really see a lot of them creating their own content.
Hmm.
So they were just watching and observing, but not using that creative and the critical thinking skills. So I created a curriculum to teach them the basics of how to create a channel, how to start creating video content, how to edit content, then how to publish
That's phenomenal. I think I need that class myself, actually,
it.
because when it comes to the actual video editing, I have a stable full of people to choose from that are so much more expert at it than me, including you, for that matter. Thank you for allowing me to pick your brain every once in a while on those types of things. Um, Now, one of the things that I would love to move into in the future as well is multi-camera live streaming, and apparently you have also a setup for that as well. Is
Yeah.
livestreampro.us? Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So that's just a program, within my company
Mm-hmm.
that provides multicam live streaming, wireless. We're 100% wireless, so we can go anywhere as long as we have an internet signal. we can do live streaming, multicams, 3-camera setup. We can run a laptop into the setup to use any type of lower thirds or any kind of animation, graphics, add video into that. And primarily, we've just done a lot of civic meetings. I work with several nonprofits in the area where we live stream their workshops or bigger symposium type things. Convention.
Mm-hmm.
We do a 2-day convention every year.
Okay.
And it's yeah.
Now, with this coronavirus type of situation that's happening right now, in fact, I know another mutual friend of ours, Patrick Kirby, is doing his Do-Gooders conference today, which was supposed to be a live convention for a number of different people, and they're running it on a skeleton crew virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I understand correctly, that's the type of thing that you would be able to do for other organizations as well that are having to, oh gosh, we can't all meet in one place, but we still want to have this event. Let's call Kris Klise, get him in here with the multi cameras, and we'll virtually keep going forward. Do I have it in a nutshell?
Yeah, and everybody's jumping on board. Everybody needs to be virtual, and it's great because businesses are realizing how important it is, and that it's not something that you can put off anymore. Mm-hmm. Investing in your ability to reach people virtually is very important. And as we move forward in the next few months, those companies that have already been doing it, they're going to be a little bit ahead of the curve, and those that haven't been doing it are going to need some help. And I have a network of people, video business owners and live streamers all across the country. Mm-hmm. So, if anybody needs support, I have people from New York, Florida, Texas that are highly qualified professionals that are colleagues of mine. We network together, or some of us are in some mastermind groups together. And there's a lot of capable and talented people out there, willing not only to come and like run an event or live stream an event, but I enjoy helping my clients get set up so that they can do it on their own. And then I can just consult with them afterwards and help them. So I've done, multiple businesses where I've gone in, helped them set up a multicam system that they can use, say in a conference room or something like that, and train their staff on how to use the equipment, and then just support them remotely after that.
Now that itself, I think that is extremely, extremely valuable right now at this point in time. If you need to transition the way you do business, then definitely reach out to Kriss, have a consulting call, have them set stuff up, and then train your people how to do it, so that going forward, you've stepped into the new millennium, the new. It's like we've been in the 21st century for 20 years now, right?
Right.
And now we're feeling it, right? We're feeling it. It's a whole new millennium, or a whole new century.
It's unfortunate. I've been blessed in running my business that I've been able to maintain the same client base since I started this. I really do work with the same clients. It's been 4, 5, 6 years now. I have the same clients, and I've seen on average it takes a typical business about a year from the time that they start integrating these technologies into their system. The average company, it takes them about a year before they fully understand the capabilities of the technology. So it's a little bit slow. I think now businesses might be a little bit more open to utilizing these technologies, because we all have to right now.
Right. Absolutely. So let me ask you, what can businesses do right now to utilize technology, specifically like video, social media? What kind of baby steps can they take right now?
Sure. First piece of advice is just get started. Make sure that you're on the social media platforms that you want to utilize. If you don't know what you want to use, then please feel free to reach out. But it's important to get started, start building your base, because organically building a viewership and a customer base takes time, takes effort, and it takes a good strategy to be able to create content.
Excellent. Yes. I want to back that up because, each social media has its own personality,
Yeah.
right? Facebook is not LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is not Twitter. And
Right.
you have to have an idea strategically where you want to go, where your clients are, and what your business personality is to fit into that strata. Would you disagree?
No, I think that's very important. Strategy is the number one uh, key to all this that I tell all my clients. I was in the military. I was in military intelligence. Just the way that I think and operate is very strategic. I always have that end goal in mind before I even get started. We got to assess where we're at, and then figure out where we're going. Then we create a roadmap on how to get there. And so strategy is extremely important, and planning and then executing on this. I work with a lot of companies that they might have these assets in place, say like these social media pages, but they have no strategy and no rhyme or reason why they're doing things, or they just need a little guidance and support on creating a strategy that works.
Yeah.
And just to add on that real quickly, I think there's two things I want to mention. One is investing in your own company and investing in your business. If you're not willing to, social media manager is a job now. A social media content creator is an actual job. So, as much as you think, I talked to several business owners just recently, people I know, friends, colleagues, and they feel like why am I paying you thousands of dollars to create a video for me? I can pay some kid $12 an hour to hold a camera. And I said, and my answer to that is, a video, for me to create a video and give it to you is totally worthless. There's no value in that. It's the strategy and the execution in it that really brings the value. So that's what I bring to businesses, is really to help them understand the whole playing field. And it's not about creating a video per se. A video by itself is totally worthless.
Right.
It's got to do a proper assessment. It's like when you go into the doctor's office, you don't just walk in and they're like, here, take this medicine. They ask you what's going on. They check your vitals. It's a same thing.
Right.
And then they finish that with a prescription. And, after they've taken time to assess you and understand what's going on with you. And that's pretty much how I work.
That's excellent advice. Absolutely excellent. So why would you say that video is such a fundamental tool for business?
Well, if you look at the statistics, and now, it got, in the last few months, it's really skyrocketed. But the use of video and video engagement is huge. If you're a brick and mortar business and if you're a successful brick and mortar business that doesn't do anything other than, say, some print advertising or something like that, and you're successful, that's great. But you could increase your client base, you can increase your sales, because you're missing, a huge amount of potential clients or people that you can help or provide a product or service to that exist online. And once you start connecting, whether it's through Facebook or LinkedIn, it starts to open your eyes up, and you're like, wow, I was not engaging these potential clients, and I didn't even know they existed. Right. So there's a lot out there, and two, a lot of them are free. Other than taking the time, and if you have to pay somebody to create a video asset for you, other than that, implementing it and getting it out there can be free.
Yeah. Excellent. So, literally, I hear Trish Lito say this all the time. If you have a phone, you have the capacity to get online and promote your business. Period. So,
Yeah.
What would you say a business could do right this minute to get present into the video world?
Call me. No, I'm just playing.
I like that, actually. I think that's the best answer possible. But what else?
Just say if you're a business right now and you haven't really engaged, say if you have social media pages yeah, just send a message out there and let everybody know that you're doing okay, that you hope they're doing okay. Connect with your clients. Don't be abrasive, be empathetic in these times. I've had to work with a lot of my clients right now, and some of them have made some big faux pas in the last few months
Mm-hmm.
by being overly aggressive in trying to sell or trying to like get donations.
Mm-hmm.
In this time, like everybody's struggling. It's really important to be empathetic. So if you're a business owner right now, I would challenge you to pick up your phone. Don't do it live. Just record yourself, and then make it a simple edit. There's iMovie. If you have an iPhone, you can use iMovie. There's tons of apps out there that can help you to edit, and make something just to reach out to your clients and empathize with them. Let them know that you're still there. Let them know if you're still operating. You can even talk to them about, a little bit about your struggles, and share with them. But really, just let them know that you do care and that you're there. So
Awesome. So what are like three big no-nos to do for a business, just so you don't get out there and kind of shoot yourself in the foot first thing?
sure, a big one is strategy. Don't just put anything out. Before you do it, plan it. In the courses that I teach, I'm actually a high school video production teacher right now also.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I sit down with a client, I talk to them about the phases of the project or about creating content.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it's three phases. It's like the pre-production, you know, the post-production, and then the actual channeling it out there and getting the video out or getting the content out. So and they're all equal phases. So these are a third, a third, a third. Your pre-production is just as valuable as anything else that you do. And the majority of business owners that I work with, they totally skip that phase. They're just like, I just want a video here. Well, let's talk about some strategy first. Like, one, what's the goal in mind? So this is to, strategy, have an end goal, always have an end goal, but create a strategy, write it down on paper. That'll make it a lot easier for you too when you get up in front of the camera. Then you have some general direction and where you're going with the video and what you're saying.
Yeah.
So those are 2 points: have a strategy and be able to execute it, have an end goal in mind.
Okay, excellent. All right. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this organizational assessment and digital implementation strategy that you're offering to our audience as as a free gift from this production. Tell me a little bit more what is involved in that so that people understand how valuable this gift is that you're giving them.
Sure. Well, number one, I love to help people. I want to help people be successful. This is individuals, businesses. I love to help people. I do. It's what I do, and it makes my job easy in life. Is all I have to do is help people.
Right.
So, as far as doing an assessment, I have a advanced, I have a master's degree in psychology. So I do like industrial organizational psychology. I also have a degree in sports psychology, where I've worked with professional athletes, college athletes, and a lot of artists and business owners. And so it's really the psychology about things. So if a business is struggling right now and they're not sure of how to implement any kind of video or any kind, we do any kind of content creation, animation, print. I have some great web developers that I'm partners with also. But it's really, understanding your where you need to go. Well, first off, assessing where you're at, and then picking a goal, creating a goal, and then designing a roadmap on how to get there. So I would be happy to, as a free offer, with the first business or person that reaches out to me from seeing this, I will, do an assessment of your organization, where you're at right now, create some goals with you, and then design a roadmap on how to get there. And it's just that simple. My thesis for my master's degree was in goal setting and motivation. So I really enjoy helping people to set goals and then get motivated and achieve those goals.
Awesome. Very awesome. I highly encourage all of our audience to try to be the first one, because this is worth more than you realize when you have somebody that's got a mindset that is strategic in the way that it was created growing up, that is naturally formulated that way, to be able to look at your stuff and go, okay, here's where you are, here's where we want you to get there, and here's where how we need to get, the pathway. So yeah, this is big stuff, especially if you're just starting out. Don't
Sure.
muddy the water with stuff that you really don't want to have to try and eliminate off of Facebook later in life.
All right.
Do the planning, do the process, and you'll have much better results, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just to add on to that, a lot of the organizations, I find this in a lot of the larger organizations that I work with. The smaller organizations, if you're a small business owner and it's you and a couple of employees, it's a lot easier to create a strategy and implement it, as long as you're investing in yourself and your company, whether that requires hiring a person to do that job, because you can't do it all. If you want to be a successful business owner, you have to know how to delegate. You have to know the roles that are, they have to be well defined. But the bigger organizations, I find that they have the money to create a position and fill a position, or hire a consultant such as myself to come in and help them implement this. But they're really a lot of red tape. There's a lot of checks and balances there, and their systems are generally not fluid. And, not to say I make fun of them, but I mean, I work with a lot of executives, a lot of CEOs, and I tell them straight up, I'm very honest with them. That's part of my job too, is to be brutally honest with you, whether you like it or not. And they all understand it. But, I tell them, part of your problem is that, before the product that gets to you to get approved, it has to go through 10 different people. And, to some of these people, it's just a job to them. Nobody's going to care for your business if you're a business owner like you do. Nobody's going to execute like you do, because they are not invested as, the same way you are. So I highly recommend small business owners to if you don't already have a solid strategy, to reach out to me. Absolutely. And let's help to create a blueprint, a roadmap.
Phenomenal. Now, I wanted to just kind of touch in a little bit on the personal side of it all, because you do have family that are not in school, homeschooling, working side by side with your daughter. How is all that going for you?
Well, it's been pretty interesting, I guess you could say. I have my own ideas and concepts about what's going on in the world right now. And I'm pretty much just, not to say suspending judgment, but I think in the current time, I'm pretty much just strategizing on when we get a little more firm understanding of where we're at as a society, then I'll know better on how to execute. But, I think we've all just been staying busy. My wife's been making masks. She's a flight attendant. She hasn't flown in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And, so for her to stay busy has been important, because she loves her job, but she's not able to do it now. So she's just been sewing constantly 24/7 for 6 weeks now. And, my young one, my younger daughter's 4. So to her, she doesn't really know what's going on. And I have a 12-year-old that is a middle schooler, and, it's been hard on her, not being able to be social and be out, having to be isolated. It's been challenging. So just been trying to exercise, eat right.
Keep the mind straight. I gotcha. Awesome. Yeah. That's wonderful. And thank you to your wife for all of the effort that she's putting in making masks for those who choose to wear them or need to wear them. God, I can't imagine what it's like to really, really love your job and not be able to do it. I know I hear there's a lot of people that are just like, a little worried that they're not going to have a job to go back to. But I haven't heard many people say how much they miss it or how much they loved their job or whatever. So I'm really happy to hear that she did she loves what she normally does and would love to get back to it. I'd love her to get back to it too, because I'd love to fly to Michigan like that. As soon as they tell me it's okay, I don't care if I got to wear a mask or not. But there's family that I love and haven't seen, and I want to see them. So, but before we go today, I want to ask you: do you have any final thoughts for our audience today?
Good question. Yeah, I do. And I would just encourage your viewers and listeners to really, if you haven't already thought about how you're going to adjust and transition in the future as far as media and technology in your business, to really do some soul searching on it, because it was already at the cusp. We were already moving, and a lot of us have already moved in that direction. But now is the time for you to create a successful strategy for your business moving forward. And someone like myself, or like I said, I have colleagues all over the country that would be willing to invest some time and help you also to be able to create a strategy and a plan and then execute it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with me today, Kriss. I do appreciate it very, very much. And once again, I encourage everyone who's watching today to reach out to you, because I know that the stuff that you have to offer, the strategic thinking that you have to offer, and the resources that you have to offer are much more valuable than anybody could realize until they talk with you even once. So thank you again for what you're doing.
Thanks, Gayle.
All right, Facebook, have a fabulous day. We'll talk to you again soon. When you open yourself up to actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.